Welcome everyone to our Beyond 5D podcast. My name's Michael Murray, and you may remember me from the previous shows that we were doing. And I'd like to welcome you today just to have an amazing experience about what we're going to go through today. I've got two new presenters with me who I'm absolutely honored to introduce to you all. First one is Luke Scott III. A guy who I've worked with before in corporate, for an IT company. So we've got a journey which goes right back there, and we both went through an awakening at different times, different stages of our lives, but we share so much and it's so exciting. So welcome, Luke. We welcome you to the podcast. And of course, Jane Moore, the beautiful Jane Moore, a wonderful lady who's going through a huge awakening at the moment. She's also a hypnotherapist and lives in Scotland with a wonderful place that's secluded living space that she has there, going on a huge journey, got so much to offer everybody. And welcome, Jane.
Hi, Michael. Hi, Luke. How are you doing?
Yeah, so exciting. Just so everybody who's listening knows, when Michael and me worked together in corporate, we thought he was absolutely insane. He was telling us about all of these aliens and ETs and chemtrails, and that the government don't really have our best interests at heart. And we all thought he was some crazy. We didn't even, the word conspiracy theorist wasn't even a word back then. We didn't really know what to call it. But I always was curious because it was so real for him. And then it took me a while to get on the same train. And in 2016, I had my big awakening experience, got connected with what I call source. And I realized that pretty much everything Michael was telling me is truth. And now it's so good to be in sync again and on the same kind of mission. And yeah, it's been a really, really beautiful journey. So I'm excited to share with you wherever you're at. Let us know in the comments, in the chat as well. Where are you at in your awakening stage? Is this something that's really new for you? Are you an experienced hand? And throughout the whole show, if you have any questions, please do let us know, and we'll make sure to come back to you and get those answered.
Yeah, absolutely, Luke, brother. And what a journey it's been. I'm just grateful that there's more people who are on the same page now, who actually, who actually are awake, because there was points in time where I was thinking, am I crazy? Because some of the things that were being downloaded to me, coming through my higher self, were incredible, absolutely incredible. And I was having to tell everybody these things because they wouldn't leave me alone. They were constantly coming through. And I was thinking to myself, what do I do with all this information? If I pass all this information out to everyone around us, they're going to think I'm mad, which obviously you did. And everyone around, especially, just trying to get on with their day-to-day lives, their day-to-day job, manager watching over us and everything like that. Whereas all these things are downloaded to us. I'm like, wow, just coming out of the blue to us. I'm like, I want to tell people. I want to tell somebody. That was kind of the reaction I had to it. It was absolutely incredible. And I'm just so glad that so many people now are on their awakening journey and they understand just what this is all about. It's incredible. But to follow that journey with Luke is very special to me, very special.
And one of the things that you did, Michael, was you planted these seeds that took a little while to grow. It probably took me, almost 5 years before I was able to accept them. But never underestimate, everyone who's listening, the power of planting these seeds, because when I did then start to get this connection and I realized all of these things that Michael told me were true, it was a lot easier for me to accept because Michael had already told me about them. It wasn't brand new for me. And I'm really grateful for that, because for some people, and maybe if you're listening now, these things coming to you are just such a huge shock to the system, and it can be really, really uncomfortable. There's something called cognitive dissonance, which is when your brain is trying to hold these different beliefs, and it's a very uncomfortable process where you have to let go of everything that you learned before to embrace this new reality. And some people let go really easily, and other people hold on and create a lot of tension and tightness. And I think people like you, Michael, who came here first with that knowledge, you were just here to pave the way, right? And make it a lot easier for people like myself.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, there was no intention at all of anything like that. It was literally just I was getting all this information being downloaded from my higher self to me, just saying this is what you need to look into, and it was so clear, and it was so concise, it was crystal clear. You see, I was kind of being told that the awakening was happening in 2012, so you can think right back then, all of this stuff that everyone's going through now, I was going through back then. And I just thought, what, about chemtrails, about the government, about all these what's called conspiracy theories. As you're quite right, Luke, it wasn't even a term right back then, but now obviously they've called it that because they need to put some kind of term towards it, But I knew it wasn't any kind of conspiracy theories or anything, because this was stuff that was coming through to us. It was even coming through my dreams. It was coming through to us on a daily basis, and it wouldn't leave us alone. It was constantly telling me to look into it. And that's what I did. And all you's actually seen was an interpretation of that coming through me as a being. Obviously, in the corporate job, you just saw what was coming through. A lot of stuff at the time I was actually trying to hold back, believe it or not. And if you can imagine just how much I could have actually said, I think I said enough, to be honest, at the time, but to get the message across. But I can totally understand why people would have thought like they would have, because when I think back about it, before I actually was awake, I would have thought that was crazy, some of the things that were coming through. But I knew there was a sense of truth to it, because it was constantly bugging us. These messages were coming through. It was a guidance. There was some kind of guidance. So anybody who's listening now, if you're getting guided to do something, I highly recommend you to follow through with that guidance and just to see where it takes you, because it could take you to somewhere amazing, somewhere beautiful, And what's wonderful is for me to see so many people awake now, such as Luke, from dropping those seeds, from planting those seeds back there in the day. It's incredible, Luke. It's amazing to see just the journey you've gone on now as well, and just where you've came from it, though. I mean, it's not just a case of a little bit of awakening. You've fully exploded into an awakening, and it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's been such a wonderful journey. And I think if you are being told right now that you are crazy and that you're weird, I think that probably means you're on the right path. Especially, we're coming up now to November, so people are starting to think about Christmas time, especially in the UK. And when you get there with your family and your friends, and you have all of this information inside of you, it's a game, isn't it, to see how you get this information out, how you kind of drip feed it to people without scaring them off. And so many people on the planet now are having this experience of wanting to protect their loved ones, wanting to share this information because you care, and you don't want people to drink the poisonous water, and you don't want them to eat the poisonous food, and you want them to have the spiritual connection and turn off the news. And not because all three of us, myself, Jane and Michael, we all studied hypnosis, and we all know how to take people into trance states. And so much of what is happening now, the TV, the news, the billboards, everywhere you go, they're just trying to hypnotize people, and they're very, very good at it, aren't they? What's your experience been, Jane?
Yeah, absolutely. They're so blatant with it. They're so blatantly obvious, aren't they? With the constant hypnosis as you get through the media, through the newspapers. When somebody's just picking up even just a newspaper just by reading it, they're giving themselves subliminal messages, aren't they? Constantly. So it's everywhere around you. Like you go into Tesco's, it's with all the all the markers and everything else. It's there, isn't it? But some people aren't even seeing it. The ones that's not awakened, but it's so in your face, isn't it? And like we all studied hypnosis, so we know the games that they're playing, which is a very dangerous game. But a lot of people have fallen for it, hook, line, and sinker. And it's our job now to, as you say, is guide these people out of their amnesia and keep drip feeding them, all the truth bombs. And so we get as many people over to the other side as possible safely onto that higher plateau, shall we say. Yeah.
This is one of our intentions for this podcast this week, is to share with you some tips and advice and guidance on how you can enjoy this huge global awakening, because it can be really joyful. These last 2 years, if anybody noticed, there was like some crazy weirdness happening on the planet. I don't know. Did you notice anything strange last couple of years?
Not really.
It was a bit of an odd one for some people, but I had the best couple of years. It's been just absolutely phenomenal coming together in community, seeing people care more about their health, seeing people step up and be more vocal and share their truth in a way that's never happened before. And I've got a book coming out called Find Your Truth. So truth is a big turn on for me, and seeing all of these people starting to ask those questions and not just blindly follow. This is, I believe we live in like a movie or a game show, and this has been the best movie of this beautiful time. And anyone who's tuning in, we're going to just drop in these nuggets. We're going to give you our experience of what our awakenings were like. So wherever you are, you're either going to be entertained by our stories or educated, or maybe both, on how you can help your awakening experience become as pleasurable as possible, because it can be incredibly challenging, or it can be beautiful, and it probably will be both.
Yeah.
I think it definitely probably will be both.
From
my experience
both.
anyway.
Yeah, definitely both, for sure.
So Michael, you were the first person, if we say, who had this awakening. Do you want to tell everybody what that was like and what happened? And yeah, I'd love to hear your story.
Absolutely incredible, really incredible. So, I mean, I've been awake for over 20 years now, and it's been such a journey. It really has. I mean, I'm so grateful for every single moment of it, but to say it's been easy would be a lie. You know, it hasn't. It really hasn't. And to feel like you're kind of not fitting in certain ways as well has been very difficult. Like even in that corporate job, at times I didn't feel like I was fitting in at all. Because how can you, when you're awake, how can you possibly put your brain and your mind towards doing a 9-to-5 job when you know everything that comes with that 9-to-5 job, you know, in regards to the mentality that goes into it, and what that's doing for yourself as far as the slave culture is concerned as well. And when you look into that side of things, so that was very difficult to deal with. But my awakening first came when I was 11-year-old. I was out on the cricket field, and I looked towards a cornfield which was surrounding the cricket field, and I seen like a light coming down there, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. I was actually with my brother at the time, and we were playing cricket, and we had to stop cricket because there was something going on in the cornfield. We weren't sure what it was, you know, being suspicious of different things in cornfields. You just don't know what it could be. I wasn't sure whether someone had set it to fire or something like that. So we went to walk towards it. My brother wasn't that keen on getting too close to it, but I was. I wanted to know what it was. I wanted to know if someone set a fire or what it was, a firework. It looked like a firework of some sort. Maybe it's one of those Catherine wheels that spins around, something like that. And the closer I got to it, the closer I noticed it was actually what I would class as somebody levitating with lights around them. And to see that at that age was incredible. You know, absolutely incredible. And my brother, even to this day, still remembers it. He'll not go into too much detail about it because I think it still frightens him. But yeah, so there was some figure meditating in the far end of the cornfield, past the cricket field, with lights surrounding it. And what was incredible was I was actually getting communicated by it through telepathy. So those telepathy signals coming through to us saying that everything was all right, don't be in a panic mode. And that's why I think that I didn't fear it at all. But as I was getting closer, it wanted us to get to a certain point, but not too close for some reason. And it was passing messages through to us at 11-year-old. Looking back on it, I would probably say it was probably my higher self from a different realm, or maybe it's the future self, possibly, a future traveling self, possibly. But it certainly was a figure. It was hovering, it was levitating, and there was lights surrounding this figure. It was passing a lot of information to us.
I just got goosebumps all over my whole body when you said it was your higher self from another time place.
Wow.
I call those the shivers of truth. I've still got them. That was powerful. Let us know if you ever get those, everyone who's tuning in.
Wow, amazing. So that it sounds like as though that's what it actually was then. In that case, it could have been my higher self coming to us at that point, choosing that point in the timeline to come and pass a message on to us about what was coming, about the awakening. At 11-year-old, letting me know what was coming ahead, how I had to wake up all of humanity, really, as much as I could. And I was just like blown away by that 11-year-old, thinking, because, you know, you just don't expect anything like this to happen, and you think to yourself, was that an illusion? Mirage of some sort? What was it? And but I knew it was true, and I still know to this day that it happened. It was true. My brother even still, he'll even say that he knows about it, but he didn't feel the detail that I felt, which is why I feel that it was my higher self coming to warn us about something, or possibly coming to communicate something out to humanity, letting me know there was a big change, a big shift coming on earth, and that this awakening process was happening. And it was drip feed. Ever since that point, it was drip feeding me information constantly about this awakening process, well in advance of time, well in advance. I would then hear people like David Icke, for example, start talking about things that I'd already known because they're already being passed to us. These are things that I was telling people at this corporate job, and then suddenly it was coming through on news broadcasts and different ways. Other conspiracy theorists, if you want to call it that, were saying the same type of thing. But I knew this was true because it was getting passed to me at this point anyway, and having to deal with that was very difficult.
Do you think, Michael, there was anything that you did to open yourself so you were able to receive that experience?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely do. I'm a very open person anyway, but a few things, to be honest. I asked for the truth to be told to us at a very young age. Something as simple as this. I didn't, obviously, when my parents were talking about things like Father Christmas, and I know that might sound funny to some, I knew that it didn't exist. And I wanted to know, and I wanted to be sure that I would never be lied to again by anything like that. And as far as media is concerned, or fake news, I didn't want any of that. I didn't want any of it. I used to watch cartoons, different programs. I didn't want anything to be misleading me in any way anymore after that realization that Father Christmas didn't exist, Santa didn't exist, because that was a bit of a shock at the time, because I honestly trusted my parents at that particular time. And I said, I actually put it out there to the universe, to my higher self, to any angel, to any God, anything. I said, please don't have anyone lie to me anymore. Please let the truth be told, and please let me discover it. And this was literally just before seeing that figure levitating and the lights and everything, And then after that, it's been such a journey of truth.
I'd love to invite everybody who's listening and tuning in now, if you would love to accelerate your awakening and be able to see more truth, just exactly like Michael did then. Maybe, Michael, do you want to just guide people again and tell them what you just said? If you want to close your eyes and take some deep breaths, and you want to share with them what that intention you put out to the universe was. And anyone who's listening, if you feel this as if it's happening right now, and ask this to be your truth as well, you might be really pleasantly surprised at what can change in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was just fed up of hearing nonsense, to be honest. It wasn't just from TV and radio. It was from people around us. I just knew it was nonsense because it didn't feel like truth. And all I asked the universe, God, all the angels, all the light, I just said, please send me the truth. Please send me the truth, And I said, please don't hide anything anymore. I don't want anything hidden from view. I don't want anything. I want the curtain to go up. I don't want anything to be hiding behind the curtain, lurking in the shadows, anything like that anymore. I just want the truth. I can deal with the truth. And when you put that out and you say, something that I used and I remember now was that, don't worry about me. I can handle the truth. And I think sometimes it's important for you to understand and say that, because I think there's something which is protecting you from the truth. And one of the reasons is it's protecting you because it cares about you. And it cares about you that much that it doesn't want to see you into any harm or any pain or anything like that. But what you can do is you can actually state your intention. And if your intention is clear that you want to know the truth and nothing but the truth, and you can deal with it, the important part being you can deal with it, you just want to know. What happens is it's revealed to you. It has to be revealed to you because the universe works in permissions, and you're giving your permission to the universe, to God, if you like, that you want the truth and you can deal with it, And by doing that, by getting that message out there, you're going to be sent so many signs. You're going to be shown so many truths. And ever since that moment onwards, my life's just been one big roller coaster of truths.
Fantastic. I would just love to say as well, with my clients, one of the things I would say after something like that is, depending on your appetite for change, because that could create huge change, like immediate change in your life, which we might be ready for. If you would like your change to be more manageable, I often like to ask for these things to be revealed in the exact perfect way for me, with ease and grace. So adding ease and grace. Things can be very shocking and very extreme. That is one way to do it. Other people want kind of more breadcrumb after breadcrumb and a bit more easeful. And there's no right or wrong way to do that. You know, who you people listening, you know if you're ready for a big slap or if you'd rather be gently massaged through the way to the truth. What was yours like, Jane? Did you get a big slap of truth, or was yours a gentle massage?
Mine was a big slap of truth. A big, great slap on the back. Mine was. I would say the awakening for me was about 4 years ago, when I went through a dark night of the soul, and I was going through very severe depression. And then I was laid in bed one night, and I just basically surrendered to God, and I said, please, God, please help me. You need to help me. I was in dire straits, and then half an hour later, my phone pinged and I got a message through, and it was basically to say, have a look at this. You'll find answers. You'll find the truth here. And it was related to doing my health. And so I clicked on this link, and from that point onwards, it trajected me into an incredible transformation with my health and healing. But really, the huge slap on the back was that I would almost call it like a bolt of lightning, was when COVID hit. And my knowing, my higher self was like, this is it. This is it. This is what you're here for. You need to help others. But I just knew from my knowing that this was it. This was my awakening out of my amnesia state. The veil had been completely ripped right off me. So it was quite intense. And like you were saying, you know, people think that you're absolutely barking mad crazy when you're showing them all this truth, all these truth bombs, and they're like, what is going on with you? You're barking mad. And I'm like, no, can you not see it? Can you not see what I'm seeing? They're like, what the heck? So yeah, my great awakening was it was like almost like a slow trajectory, and then boom, big slap on the back. So for me, it's just I think if you ease yourself, don't take it too seriously, because the more you resist, the more painful it's going to be. So you just need to surrender into it, because divine has a plan for each and every one of us, and we're all on a different journey of evolution. So, you know, when you've got somebody to guide you, like, you know, us three, I think it'll become a lot easier, you know, when you've got somebody to hold your hand, and you won't feel alone, because you're not alone. God's got your back. But if you've got some friends to help you along the way, even better. But know that you're not going crazy.
Yeah, it's one of the most beautiful things that I've seen come out of the last 2 years. It's been really easy to find your tribe now, because the truth speakers are really standing out, like physically standing out, because quite often they don't wear masks, so you can literally see. I made a really good friend in a supermarket. Me and my wife were in a supermarket. We saw a guy without a mask on. We just started talking to him. Turned out he was exactly on our page, and he has a daughter the same age, so we did some play dates, and it was like we would never have probably spoken to him if it hadn't been for this whole thing. And so that was one thing that was like, wow. And I've seen, because of this separation programming that they're trying to push, you know, they're trying to get the left versus the right, and the masked versus the unmasked, and the jibbed versus the unjibbed. You have to be careful what words you say, because otherwise we'll get our thing taken down. So be creative with the words. They want to have us fighting each other. And obviously we all know as spiritual beings that ultimately we're all one. There's just one soul on the whole planet. There's just one energy. We are all this one thing. And we all have different characteristics and ways of being. And that's exactly what they don't want us to know, which is why they started fluoridating the water again in the UK, right? To numb us and keep us in that low vibration.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm totally with you, Jane. Get good friends around you, get other people.
Okay.
It's one of the good reasons that doing podcasts like this, hopefully we can help someone who's listening. And if you know someone who is going through the awakening now and they feel maybe they could use some more support, please send them this, get them to get in touch with us. We've all got different groups and communities as well. Do we want to share a little bit about where people can find us and how they can join our tribe if they're interested? Michael, do you want to share about your tribe and what you've created?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm the founder and owner of Magic Nutrients Limited, and it's just been an incredible journey of how it started. I mean, I started this with, again, divine guidance, just to help one person. You know, if I could help one person out in some way with their awakening journey, I was going to be classed as successful. That's all I set out to do. There was no real intentions of getting to a six-figure business as it is per year, and it's adding on all of the time. There was no intentions of selling hundreds and thousands of products. There was no intentions of having message after message after message of thank you so much, you've changed my life. There was no intentions of all of this tribe coming together and to say at the same time and to say like what an amazing community that's been created here. And it's just, honestly, I could cry knowing what's already been created. Never mind what we're actually creating now and what's going to be happening in the future. It's overwhelming in a way, but I'm a very humble being, and you know, I'm just grateful that I was actually the one chosen to be able to put this forward to everybody, for them to actually take a look. And that's all we say, just take a look. Maybe something will help your awakening journey. Maybe it won't. But that's fine, you know, there's no pressure or anything like that. You awaken in your own time. You awaken when you want to. But yes, certainly if you find www.magicnutrients.co.uk or www.magicnutrientslimited.com, you've got everything on our website there. And we've also we're going to put this podcast out on a YouTube channel. We'll put it out on Odyssey. We'll also put it out on Spotify as well. And I'm sure anyone you know, who's interested, please share it. Please share it as much as you can, because we're all one tribe. Your vibe attracts your tribe, and our intention is to keep that vibe, you know, with this tribe. And you know, if people want to join, then great. If not, that's also great. It's fine, you know.
One of your Telegram groups, Michael, was so useful for me when COVID hit and you know things started getting a bit crazy. You have a group where you brought together different light workers, and people would share. Not in some of the other groups there was a lot of negativity, but your group seemed to share more of the positivity, which was fantastic. And it, you know, it shared the news as well, but it was a bit different. Some groups are very draining when you're on it, but the way you and your tribe were sharing stuff, it was more uplifting, which was so needed, especially with all of the documentaries that have come out recently. And you can go and check out my YouTube channel. I've done loads of videos explaining about all of these different theories and documentaries and everything. It's Luke Scott Official, my YouTube channel. You can go check it out. And there's one called Red Pill and Chill with Luke Scott. You can go see it. We go into all the deep stuff. But as I was going through that, it was just so helpful to have you and your community there and to be a part of that, knowing all these other beautiful light beings were here going through the same thing. And yeah, I'm really thankful. I don't think I've ever expressed my thanks to you for that.
Oh, you're welcome, Luke. Honestly, it's my pleasure. And before that, we obviously had our group on Facebook, which just had thousands and thousands of light workers on there, which all got taken down. It all got divided up. And I was thinking to myself, what do we do now? What do we do now? How do we create what we had? What we had was incredible. People were all sharing their truths. They were sharing their journeys and everything. And it was amazing. It was like nothing else, no other group. And obviously Facebook got onto it. The Facebook police then took it down, and everyone on the group was banned from Facebook as far as I'm aware, because they were that terrified by our group. thankfully Telegram came along, and then we were able to jump on Telegram and build up what's happening again now, which is incredible. And we're just getting started. And I'm so grateful for everyone who contributes to that group and who was part of it. And we like to hear about everyone's awakening journey, how it's been for them. And also, if they want to share anything, they can share anything uplifting. We always say, please try and share something uplifting, because when you're going through your awakening journey, especially the last few years, there's been so many horrific things. It's interesting because a lot of people say to me that that's what makes them, become awakened, is something horrific. And I say, why? Don't let that be the reason for you to be awake. The reason you should be awake is to be happy, to be uplifted, and to want to find out the truth. So it's interesting that some people awaken, they have to really be shown it. Especially, I've noticed in the UK as well. I mean, I'm lucky to have an international following, but in the UK, I've noticed it takes people that little bit longer to understand things, and they have to be shown something that they don't like, which causes pain, before they then go searching for pleasure.
Yeah, I know something else we all have in common, the three of us, is we all live a plant-based life, so we don't eat animal products. And just exactly what you're saying, I do animal rights activism. And so some of the animal rights activism, we literally go on the street with a big TV or a big projector and you show people what's happening in the slaughterhouses. Like, you have to make them look at this really horrible thing, because otherwise they just keep eating the bacon sandwiches and I did that for 27 years. I used to love KFC and all those things until I had my awakening and my body said, nope, you can't eat that poison anymore. And if I would eat any animal products, I would feel so bad. I would feel the sadness, feel the suffering, and that was very traumatic. But yeah, when I saw some documentaries, there's one called Dominion. If you watch that, it's heartbreaking what is happening. 80 billion animals, land animals, get killed every year on our planet, right? But people don't know, they just ignore it. And 2 trillion sea creatures, actual trillion. It is absolutely insane. And Michael, as well, interesting you talked about your Facebook ban, because that was my journey as well. Everyone who's listening, you've probably seen this whole censorship thing. And when you're on your social media now, it might seem very one-sided, but that's because they've literally deleted everybody who has a differing opinion. So I started a channel called the Truth Speakers Network on Facebook, and they deleted my account. They suspended it, completely gone. Like, wiped me out. They deleted my Facebook and my Instagram. I had 12,000 followers on Facebook, 5.5 on Instagram. They deleted me overnight, and that was my business. And so I did the same thing. I took it to Telegram. So if anyone wants to join, it's telegram.me/Truth Speakers Network. Come join our Truth Speakers tribe. Everyone there, you can share anything that you want. There is no censorship at the moment on Telegram, which is fantastic as far as I'm aware. I've never been censored anyway. And yeah, it's been a real journey of taking that energy of speaking truth and finding a platform where we can actually do it. And so far, Telegram seems to be a really good way. It's not perfect, but it is the best that I've got right now. So if you're interested in coming and joining that, then please do. And tell us about your tribe, Jane. How have you been bringing it together?
Well, mine's Empower You International. So mine's a fairly new Telegram channel that I've started recently. But I'm actually in the process of building my website of Empower You International, which is to do with health and wellness, and to do with nutrition as well, plant-based lifestyle. So, but you can find me on Telegram, Empower You International. So yeah, just come and join my tribe, and you'll get uplifting material there.
And maybe we can work some magic by the power of technology and put all of the links below in the description.
Yeah, we can do that, can't we?
I think we can do that. And Jane, you were saying you have just recorded a new meditation that you might be offering to anyone who wants to join. Do you want to tell me about what you've made?
Yeah, that's the meditation I've actually created is Wash Away Your Fear. The meditation's called. So it's a 15-minute meditation, because I know some people are a bit limited on time, and so I just created a 15-minute bite-sized meditation that you can just listen to it in your own time. Obviously not when you're driving.
Fantastic.
We
So
could drop that in as well.
yeah, I'll post it in my group as well. So wherever you come in, you'll be able to get that.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about fear? Like, how did that play a role in your awakening? Because maybe a lot of people who are getting these messages, Michael, maybe they're scared to speak their truth. Maybe they're afraid from what they're finding out, all of this shadow that's coming to the light. And, people think this is new shadow. This is not new. It's just, being revealed. It's been happening for thousands of years. What was fear like in your journey, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you do find out that fear is just false evidence appearing real. And it's absolutely true. It's just all an illusion. It's an illusion of an awakening in sense. But yeah, fear does play an important part, actually, because you notice that you've got nothing to fear at all. And but when you're going through your awakening journey at first, you are fearful. You're fearful that you come across something which you may not resonate with, or something may cause you some kind of pain or harm, or some kind of problem in some way. And it kind of, what you do is you weigh up pain and pleasure. And what we do when we're doing anything is we try and stay in our comfort zones. So anything that could cause any pain at all, we just neglect straight away. What we didn't realize, or what I didn't at the time, was that nothing is created of your benefit inside your comfort zone. You must come outside of your comfort zone before you can actually create anything. So if you just want to be left with the same you, no growth at all, then stay inside your comfort zone. But if you actually really want to understand fear and to be able to surpass fear, to get past it, you need to come outside of your comfort zone in order to experience it. And then when you experience it, then you'll see that it's actually just false evidence appearing real. And it's just all an illusion. It's an illusion to help awaken you to bigger truths that's ahead for you, and to make you understand yourself and your higher self in a different light.
I'd love to take things really deep and cosmic for everyone who's tuning in now. And you might be able to receive this, set a strong intention that you can. And this is just my truth as well, by the way. Please question this and feel if this is your truth. But the way I have been shown how Soul Kingdom works is, before we come here, we're literally given a script of what our life can be like and what this person can be like. And we get given choices. And we say, yeah, that sounds like a great movie. I want to come and be this guy, Michael Murray, who has this ET contact experience when he's 11 years old, and everyone thinks he's crazy. And then he works in this corporate company and starts dropping these seeds. And now, finally, 10 years later, people actually listen.
Well, hey.
He thought, on a soul level, he thought that would be such a great way to live. And why do we watch movies? Why do we play games? It's to enjoy them. It's to be in joy. And so if you are scared right now, I would say whatever is making you scared, and this is what I do personally, if I feel I'm afraid of something, I step into it, because that's usually what I'm supposed to do. And I run a public speaking academy called the Standout Speakers. And the people who have the biggest fear of public speaking are usually the ones who have the best things to say. They're the ones who are supposed to be speaking, and their ego stops them from doing it by making them scared and worried about what people will say, and will they look stupid, and all of these things. And so they never step up. But if you're tuning into this, you know deep in your heart, you are here on the leading edge of consciousness. You are here to create a brand new system. You chose to be a part of this great awakening. And if you're scared, then awesome, because that means you're doing something. It means you're stepping up and get with other people who are doing things too. Come into our communities. We'd love to support you, and you can turn that fear into excitement. And this is something I'm very, very good at doing. Similar to what Jane said, I do these overcoming fear sessions with people, and usually the fear for me is rooted from when they were a kid.
Yeah, totally.
But also sometimes it's rooted in past lives. So the first time I hugged a tree in a public park, I was terrified that I was going to get arrested and sectioned. And as I hugged the tree, all of these fears came, and then I'm able to connect with different timelines. And so I just asked to be shown, where did this fear come from? And it showed me a past life where I was a spiritual teacher, and I was actually killed for being a spiritual teacher. And so obviously that memory is in my DNA, it's in my energy field. And so, of course, as I'm starting to step into that again, that all comes up, doesn't it? And when you really understand that you chose that past life as well, because you wanted to have that experience and you chose to be killed, it's getting gets really deep. But once I tapped into that past life, I learned so much of what I did wrong potentially, or what I could learn from that past life. I overcame that fear, let it go, and then boom. Now I stand on stage talking about angels and aliens and all sorts of great stuff. And I don't have the fear anymore because I've been told I'm safe in this lifetime.
Yeah.
What's your experience around fear, Jane, for anyone who's listening? What do you want to tell them?
Yeah, absolutely right. In actually facing your actual fear, and about going out of your comfort zone as well. And you're talking about, public speaking. I mean, I had never done public speaking ever. So, over this last year or two, I've, started doing podcasts with other people as well. And for me now, if you had said to me 3 years ago that I would be speaking live on a podcast, I would be like, no way, no way. But it just feels really comfortable now because I know that I'm comfortable with my fear. It doesn't scare me anymore. I think once you come out the other side of it, it's as Michael says, it's false evidence appearing real. And we do need to sort of face our fears. And if you can do that with comfort, you'll be in a much better place. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that can't face their fears and they don't know how to get over them because obviously they're subconsciously being programmed as well. And a lot of fears can stem, as you say, from previous childhood, childhood experience, or from a previous lifetime as well. So, connected into our DNA.
And all energy can be transmuted. So fear is just an energy. You just have to know how to transmute it. You can do it yourself through meditation. You can use sound frequencies. You can use plant medicines. So much. You can find a guide like one of us to help you through it if you would like some one-on-one support. You can go and do it in group sessions as well. There's so many different ways you can transmute this fear. But it is terrifying to be standing on stage and sharing your truth and telling people that you have psychic gifts and abilities. And it is terrifying to tell your family that for me, when I said I didn't want to eat animals anymore, my family thought I was going to die. They were so scared for me. And I still get bullied about it sometimes by some of my family members. But 5 years on, I'm still alive. I'm strong. I'm healthy. I'm the most vitalized I've ever been. And so, coming out is, this is like coming out, isn't it? So telling people I'm a spiritual being and I don't want to hurt animals anymore. I want to be kinder to the planet. And it's pretty wild that is classed as radical nowadays. But I think the whole world's changing.
You're talking about food as well, Luke. He was talking about that because obviously us three are on a plant-based diet. When you start cleansing, you'll find that a lot of emotions can come up that being like suppressed, and it was almost like it can be like a feeling like a bubbling sense, like a bubbling, a feeling like overwhelmed. But that's a really good thing as well because because it's been deeply buried, you're actually getting rid of it subconsciously, but on a physical level as well. So, it might be something that people's interested, they could connect in with us if they wanted to start, doing a cleanse or how to do a cleanse as well.
Yeah, I think it's just based on what frequency you're resonating on as well, and what food choices that you actually go for. And one thing I've started doing is just eating superfoods. So by superfoods, our class of superfood is something which has 7 or more benefits to it. And if something has 7 or more benefits to it with no side effects, surely it's got to be good for you. So, plant-based, but also superfoods. Eating as many superfoods as you can. And what I've found, especially through fruits, is fruits that are all the same color all the way through seem to have so many benefits to them. It's absolutely incredible. But chatting there about fear, and I remember when I first started public speaking as well, and literally I was shaking, from head to toe, just shaking and shaking. I just didn't know what I was going to say. I had everything planned out, but literally I stood up and all of that planning just completely, I was thinking, just went out my head. I was thinking, what on earth am I meant to talk about? And I felt as though kind of I'd stood up, but I also felt as though I'd sat back down, like my mind and my confidence and everything had just sat back down. I thought, am I actually standing here in front of the room, or I'm actually sitting back down in the audience? and I was thinking, what am I going to do? And I was like this all like this all of the time, and yeah, it definitely takes practice, and it takes stepping into that fear, as Luke said. And I loved what you said, Luke, in regards to stepping into your fear. I think that's super important when it comes to overcoming anything, any obstacle in your life. You must step into it. If you've got a fear or a phobia, even step into it. Find a way of doing it. If you need any help to be hypnotized in order to help get rid of that fear, obviously you can contact one of us as well, because we all do hypnosis, and we can do sessions for you. But also just think about it in a different light, in a different frequency, and step into it. I've got quite a few clients who have been scared of flying, being scared of spiders, especially ladies. And what I said, when we find it out of it, it may be coming from past lives, but it could also be coming from programming, from movies, from TV. I found a lot of that, a lot of movies like Snakes on a Plane. That was one of the ones that we identified as being one of those programming movies where they didn't want people particularly traveling around the world and finding more out about themselves. It's all part of the awakening journey. And also there was the one, the fears about snakes in that as well, and flying. So they've got both the double fear and phobias in there. But also there's things as well which you can do, which can help you by putting forward things that you think is going to actually help improve your life by stepping into that fear. And what you find is it's never as bad as what you think, ever. Never as bad, because we make this false evidence in our heads, and it does appear real. It absolutely appears real. I've camped out before in a jungle, and it's like, who on earth would do that? and me, I did it. And things as well, where you think, why would you do that? Because I was fearful of it at the beginning, and I thought, how am I actually even going to do it? But what happens is, what you find is, it's actually all an illusion. All of these things that are coming into your head about that you can't do this, you can't do that. People are going to laugh at you. People aren't going to like what you say when you come back, and all sorts of different things. When you realize that's just an illusion. And actually, if you step into it, as Luke said, step into it, you find it's never, ever, ever as bad as what you think. 95% I've found of those thoughts that you have, bad thoughts, never come true, ever. Never, ever come true. So when you think about any decision you're making, 95% of it is negative illusion, and then 5% of it could be actually some kind of truth or something that may happen in it. So the majority of it, you've got to think to yourself, well, it's not going to happen anyway. It's just this monkey mind. And if you haven't read The Chimp Paradox, I highly recommend you read it, because that's what I'd reference to here. And that comes across as 95% of your thoughts never happen, ever. You just have to control your thoughts better and put them more in a positive frame of mind. So as we touched on earlier, in regards to the Magic Nutrients group, I wanted that to be a positive place for people to come to enjoy their awakening and to share happy thoughts and posts that they've been through or that works for them. And that's what the difference is. Because why share 95% of this illusion? We just need to forget about that. That's just these stinking thoughts, basically, that come through, and we just need to forget about them and concentrate on what matters. Concentrate on what you can control. Concentrate on the controllables. Control what you can control. And you'll find that you step into your fear, and before you know where it is, you're through your fear, and then you're approaching something else in your life, as well. And it all helps you grow as a being. And it's not just you that's growing, it's the whole community around you, your friends, your family. They're all seeing what you're doing. They're all taking notice. Even if you think they're not, they all take notice. And what better way to show them that you're not scared is to confront your fears.
Absolutely.
Totally.
So we're wrapping up towards the end of this amazing podcast, and it's been really beautiful. So I'd love to invite you, Jane and Michael, to maybe think about a few top tips you would want to give to anyone who's going through the awakening, wherever they're at. Maybe they're 1 year in, 1 month in, 10 years in, who knows? It's always evolving for me. And just think, what would be the most important things you'd want to share with people? So I'll go first, because I've got my book literally coming out in February, the 22nd of February, 2022. So I have written 80,000 words about all of this stuff. So it's really fresh for me. And there's three things I think people really need to understand and learn and invest some time and energy understanding and like getting a real experience of. First thing, understand energy. You must understand your own energy, how to use it, how to move it, how to optimize it through the foods that you eat, through the way you change. You can rewire your brain, your emotions, and your spiritual energy, how you can connect this infinite energy. If you can get that energy piece down, your whole life will change, because everything is energy, literally every single thing. And we're taught that it's not. We're taught it's all physical and solid, but it's nonsense. So if you can get that, I spent 2 years with one mentor, and he just taught me all of these things and activated my psychic gifts. And it was such a good use of my time. And that gave me the foundation to build. When the last 2 years happened, I was already ready because I had so many tools. So you need to get some tools to manage energy, I would say, first thing. Second thing is your ego. Learn about your ego, because your ego is something that people say you should banish, you should get rid of, you should kill. I'm not into that. I don't think that at all. I think your ego is a tool. It's just like your brain. It's a beautiful tool. And you can use your ego. I use my ego to actually make me do things that maybe I wouldn't usually do. You can use it as a positive thing. And your ego has these sabotage patterns. If you're not where you want to be in your life right now, it's probably because you're easily sabotaged by this thing you call an ego. So if you can just learn how it works, how the tool works, like any tool, you can become a master of using your ego, and then your life will totally change. And then the third one, and they all start with an E, if you see, is your environment. And for me, if I didn't have my friends, if I didn't have my soul family, if I didn't have these beautiful people around me, I can't imagine how difficult this whole experience would have been. And so go and find your soul tribe, go and find these people who are on the same page. And I'm building off-grid communities at the moment. That's a big project that we're working on. So if that sounds exciting for you as well, you can come find us. Our website is futureproofgenerations.co.uk. And it's all about living off-grid, getting in community. So we've got like 4,000 people now just in the UK who all want to live in vegan eco villages. How cool is that? And we're in the process of building these out. So if you can imagine what your life would be like if you had so many good friends around you, where you can be yourself totally without needing to worry about what they're going to think or say. And I maybe Michael and Jane, I love when people are so weird and tell me things that aren't in my belief system. I love when they start sharing these crazy things, because it expands me even more. And I would say a top tip for finding those people: go to events. Find spiritual events near you, meditation classes, yoga, sound baths, whatever it is that you resonate with that feels good for you, and go there, because you know that people are going to have a lot of things in common. So there's my 3 E's: energy, ego, environment. If you can master those, you'll have a great time.
Amazing. Great tips.
Love that. Absolutely love it, Luke. Amazing. Can I just choose those 3?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, that's it.
I'm joking. No, I think it's important for anyone on an awakening journey to understand that it's their journey. It's not anyone else's journey. It's their journey. And yes, they have the same tribe. They have people who will resonate with their journey, but it is ultimately their journey. You know, it's your journey. Things that's right for you may not be right for somebody else. So when you go searching for information and you go searching for advice, be aware that what's right for you may not be right for them. So they may not be giving you the advice that you need. So I think it's important to listen to that guidance that comes through to you. Ask yourself some important questions. See, a lot of people, they're guilty actually of speaking to themselves in the wrong tone. They're guilty of speaking to themselves in quite a harsh tone. And this comes through ancestral beliefs. And it comes through, what I found was, whenever I'm angry with myself, I hear my dad's voice in my head come through, and it kind of worries us, and it kind of, I was hoping it would make us take action, but actually it doesn't. It does the opposite. At first, I thought it would have made us take action, but it doesn't. And it's interesting, because what I've found is a lot of people have still got this, and they talk to themselves really harshly. They do not give themselves any comfort in, and some of the things that they say to themselves as well aren't very nice. What I would say is, listen to that voice that wants the best for you, not what somebody else his journey is. And also talk to yourself in a nicer way. Just realize when you're talking to yourself, because you always do talk to yourself. You find yourself talking to yourself all the time. You're in your head all the time. You're in the shower, you're talking to yourself in the bath, you're talking to yourself anywhere you could be. You could be in the car, you're still talking away to yourself. You can hear your brain ticking, Just think of it. Just be a little bit kinder. Be a little bit kinder to yourself when you're talking, and try and ask questions that's actually going to help. Let's try and not have these negative questions that are coming, which is actually going to stop your growth and slow you down. Try and think of some questions that's going to help and enlighten you. When I asked the questions I did, even at 11-year-old, it was all about questions to help improve my life, to help take us forward, to help me grow as a person. Did I think this was all going to come from it? No, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that you've got to take that first step. You've got to listen to the right advice from the right people who are in your tribe, who are on your level, your frequency, and talk to yourself much nicer. Just be really nice and gentle with your tone. Try and tone it down. And if you hear your tone that's coming through, and it may not be what you want to hear, just experiment with it. I did a little experiment. I used to change it into sort of cartoon noises and things like that. Like high pitched, low pitched, and different. Just to try and take the sting out of it a little bit, and what you find is all of that just disappears. The whole lot disappears. It absolutely does, and you're left with this positive, nicely toned inner beingness, this voice coming through. It's taking you in the right direction, and I think that's an important factor to bear in mind. Talk to ourselves better, ask ourselves better questions. Don't take anything too seriously as well. Just try things. Don't be a perfectionist. I think I've been guilty of that in the past, being a perfectionist, trying not doing anything until it was perfect, until I thought that it was absolutely perfect in some way. So I don't want to do this awakening journey because it might not be perfect. Something may come up, something may come up that I don't like. Don't think of it that way. Allow yourself to step into it and allow yourself to grow as you're on the journey. The journey may be the most magical part of the whole awakening. It may not be the end that you find out that you were right all along, and that everyone has to awaken to exactly the same things that you want to. That may not be what's important in the end. The actual journey itself, what we're on now, that could actually end up being the magic to all of this. So don't let yourself don't let yourself be stopped in any way from just taking that first step. Take that first step to your journey, even if it could be one of the documents or the documentary, that Luke spoke about earlier. Go and have a look at that. I watch Game Changers, Knives Over Forks, or Forks Over Knives, one of the two, as well. There's so many different things, that you can look at. We can put a list down here as well in regards to movies and things that we recommend you have a little look at, which could help you start your awakening journey, in a certain way for you. And just allow yourself to be open when you watch whatever it is. Just allow yourself to open. Just don't be too critical with it. Don't be too critical. Just let yourself be open to what they're actually telling you, because there's a reason that somebody's saying this to you. There's a reason why they're going through it. Maybe they've been on a similar journey to you, and maybe it's just something that you need to watch in order to help you with your journey in the future as well. Jane, what about yourself? What tips would you give?
Michael, there were brilliant tips that you've just given as well. Yeah, I totally concur with what you just said. With everything that you were just saying. Yes, thank you very much for that. I would say just a few tips really would be, we talked about earlier on about fear. Journaling, actually, if you start journaling each day, things that you're fearing or the way you want to see yourself in the future to take yourself forward, that for me that would help the person write down what scares them, what motivates them, and where do they want to be in the future, rather than looking at the negative all the time. Start looking at the positive, not what they don't want but what they do want, because when you look at what you don't want, that makes it even more scarier, doesn't it? So for me, I would start journaling each day, and just practice being in the present moment as well, rather than projecting yourself into the future, like, oh, what's going to happen, because into the future there isn't going to be any time. There's no such thing as time anyway. But to bring yourself back into the present moment. Also, the breathing techniques as well that we've gone through earlier on, that will be a brilliant tool for anybody that feels that they're getting into that sort of feeling, that anxiety or that restriction, that dense energy. Start taking the sort of the deep breaths in and just being in the present moment. You just, even if you have to go and find you somewhere quiet to go and sit, so you can just be just for a while, just to get into that relaxed state. Because when we're in that fight or flight, you just like, or that freeze, you don't know where you're coming or going. So yeah, bring yourself back to the present moment, and journaling will help as well.
I think that's so important. You have this part of your nervous system called the parasympathetic nervous system. It's all about rest and regeneration and relaxation. And so much of our society is set up to make you into fight or flight mode. As soon as you have your coffee in the morning and you're in the traffic, beep, 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 and you get to work and you've got your deadlines and your targets, and you're in this bright lights and you've got all the Wi-Fi and everything's just there attacking your body in a way, right? And your being. And it's so different when you're out in a forest, isn't it? And you're just by yourself, breathing in the fresh air. I was just out in the forest this morning, just breathing in that beautiful nature, and everything's so peaceful, and you just feel it changes your whole biochemistry in your body. So
totally.
I'm with you, Jane, 100%.
Totally, yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'd love to know what you thought about this episode of the Beyond 5D podcast. It's been beautiful, Michael and Jane, to be sharing this stuff together, and I know we're going to be doing more episodes together as well. We've got lots of amazing things we want to share with everyone.
do.
You can also check out the previous episodes as well. There's loads of great stuff on there, and I'd just love to share with everybody just one more time that thank you for being on the leading edge of consciousness, and thank you for stepping up and being brave, and thank you for having courage to be in your truth. And I'm super excited to get to know you better. If you feel a resonance with what we're saying, come and play with us.
Thank you so much as well, Luke and Jane. I mean, I know I've learned so much from you guys as well, that we've went through. So I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you very much for both of you stepping up and sharing your gifts and your awakening journeys as well with everybody. It means a lot. It means a lot to everybody. And, we want to hear what your awakening journey is. Let us know. You can message us. You can be on our Telegram group, or you can email as well at support@magicnutrients.co.uk. Let us know what your journey is like. Where are you at in your journey right now? Are you at the beginning of it? Are you in the middle? Or do you feel like you're more nearer the end? Whatever that end may be, whether there is any.
There is no end.
There is no end.
There is no end in sight.
You're an infinite being.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
forget that,
eternal
don't we?
soul.
Yeah.
So good. Absolutely beautiful, and really, really looking forward to seeing what we come up with next. So thank you again. Please do subscribe, do share, do like this, do comment, send us all the love, and we're motivated to get this information out to people. We're doing this because we are feeling so inspired to share this truth, and just hope it can help you in any way. And if you know anyone else it can help, please do share the love.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
It's been brilliant.
Bye.